Hello guys, hope that you're all doing well. Welcome back to a new video. Inside of today's video, I'm going to be showing you all how to spot real versus fake sequential SMT, SSMT. I already have a video about sequential SMT on my channel, so if you want to understand the concept itself, I'd recommend to go and check that out. But I'm sure a lot of you guys know what the concept is, but I'm sure you also struggle with knowing when and why to use it, and knowing which sequential SMT to trust. And that is exactly what we're going to be covering inside of this video. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So the first part is understanding the logic behind sequential SMT. Sequential SMT isn't a confirmation tool, it's an indication. So whenever you see a sequential SMT form, it doesn't mean it's an automatic buy or sell signal. It means that you can begin preparing for a potential position. The higher time frame narrative / draw on liquidity always comes first. So whenever you open up a chart, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, we have this sequential SMT, I'm going to be taking along. No, you should be looking, where is price drawing to and what can I do to get myself in line with that move? That is then when you begin to look for that sequential SMT in line with the draw on liquidity. Sequential SMT then shows us when price is ready to begin the move to the draw on liquidity. So as you can see right here, let's say for example we have a higher time frame draw on liquidity being the highs. We're then looking for sequential SMT in a bullish scenario, and we're going to completely ignore every single bearish SSMT that forms until the higher time frame draw has been hit. Next, we're understanding the characteristics of a real sequential SMT. So a real sequential SMT will form in line with the higher time frame narrative, in line with the higher time frame draw on liquidity, has a TCISD, a true change in the state of delivery, and clear displacement. And the last thing to note is it's even better if you see a sequential SMT form during a red folder news event. It isn't necessary, but it makes the sequential SMT higher probability. So in this diagram, as you can see, the first thing that we have to be looking at is the higher time frame draw. In this example, higher prices, we then form a bullish sequential SMT. We then form our TCISD, the candle that forms sequential SMT, closure above that specific candle, confirms this candle here as our TCISD, price then retests the TCISD, and it also has a displacement leg with the formation of a fair value gap. You can then go ahead and take your entry there, targeting the higher time frame draw on liquidity in line with the higher time frame narrative. So now you understand the characteristics of a real sequential SMT. Let's go ahead and take a look at a fake sequential SMT. So these are the ones that you want to be ignoring, and these are the things that you can be doing to look out for the fake sequential SMTs. So a fake sequential SMT will be opposing the higher time frame narrative, opposing the higher time frame draw on liquidity, has no TCISD, and lacks displacement. Also, another thing to note is if sequential SMT forms at a completely random time of the day, for example during Asia session or nowhere near a news event or the 9:30 open, yes, they can still play out, but it's preferred to see sequential SMTs form around those key times. So your 9:30 open, your 8:30 news event, your 10 o'clock news event, the 2 p.m. news event, just somewhat around that or during those times will make the sequential SMT a lot higher probability. So as you can see here, this is almost identical to the last scenario where we had our higher time frame draw being higher, but in this case we didn't form a bullish sequential SMT between these two quarters, but we did form a bearish sequential SMT between the two quarters. So as you can see, we formed the bearish sequential SMT. People then would have really been looking to short and just instantly hopping into a short, but as you can see, we didn't actually confirm or form a TCISD. We had no real displacement, we didn't inverse any large gaps, and also the whole entire sequential SMT completely opposed the higher time frame narrative and the draw on liquidity. So whenever you see a sequential SMT form that isn't in line with the higher time frame draw, it will often act as a retracement. So it'll retrace into a gap, price then will likely form a lower time frame bullish cracking correlation, and then it will begin the move to the higher time frame draw on liquidity, targeting the initial sequential SMT highs, which is then when we get the Magneto effect. So now you understand the characteristics of a real versus a fake sequential SMT. Let's go ahead and take a look at when you should and shouldn't be using sequential SMT. So once the higher time frame draw on liquidity is met, that's when you can then look for a reversal or retracement sequential SMT, but only after it's been met. So like the example that I just showed you guys just a moment ago, the short, the higher time frame draw hadn't actually been met, so that wasn't a valid short. But let's say after the higher time frame draw had been met, like in this example right here, you can then look for a potential bearish sequential SMT to allow for a retrace into an unmitigated gap, or for a potential reversal to occur. And remember, we must use the characteristics of a real sequential SMT to actually confirm that it will hold. So here we have the characteristics of a real sequential SMT. We've taken high time frame draw liquidity. We've formed a bearish sequential SMT. Also, this must occur above the true open for the specific cycle. We then form our TCISD candle right here, closing below it, confirming it. So this here is our TCISD candle, the one that creates sequential SMT, the very first candle. This candle here then closes below it. We also get an inversion gap happening simultaneously. Price then also trades back into the TCISD before beginning the large run lower. So if price is heading towards a higher time frame draw on liquidity, but leaves behind a lot of unmitigated gaps, you can take trades against a higher time frame draw towards the gaps, but just know they are going to be a lot lower probability setups. So let's say, for example, price opens up, expands heavily to the upside, but we know that price is heading for buy side liquidity. If we form the characteristics of a real sequential SMT, just ignoring the fact of the higher time frame draw, you can sometimes take that short towards the unmitigated gaps, because price won't automatically just expand all the way towards the draw on liquidity. It will retrace before that happens. So if you're extremely sure that price is going to give a retracement, then and then only you can look for that short that isn't in line with the higher time frame draw. But just know it will be a lot lower probability, and you might as well just wait for the retracement to occur and then look for that real move in line with the long narrative. And with that being said, that is going to wrap up this nice, simple and short guide on how to spot real versus fake sequential SMT. I hope that you all found it useful, and I hope that you guys will stop treating sequential SMT like a pattern and actually apply the logic when using it. I'd appreciate if you guys could check out my socials, link below in the description, as well as leave a like on the video, subscribe, and also check out my premium membership group, as well as my one-to-one mentoring group and both of my quarterly theory indicators, link down below in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.